Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Crypto Over Coffee Q&A, where I answer your crypto questions or questions about all kinds of things related to economies, markets, etc. And if you want one of your questions answered, just a reminder, you can leave them in the YouTube comments or you can tweet me at Hashoshi4 on good old Twitter. Now, I've got a bunch of questions to answer today, so without further ado, make sure you're subscribed. Let's dive into the questions. The first one is from NozyBTX1. Shoshi, my question is, although I don't want it to happen, if Binance fails, will BSC fail too? What would happen? Thank you in advance. So this question is basically about Binance and the Binance Chain, Binance Smart Chain, BNB Chain, whatever it's called now. The answer is, I guess, twofold. One, we don't know if Binance is categorically going to fail. There's a lot of people out there spreading FUD. Okay, I don't think it's FUD. It's people concerned, and they have every right to be concerned, and there are issues that I would point to. Namely, Binance has almost 70% or more of their reserves in reportedly BNB, BUSD, and Tether, all three things that are very, I would just say there are concerns with that. Okay, that's a lot that's embedded in their own tokens, and then Tether, which has its own questions. Okay, so yes, there are concerns. We don't know if Binance is going to fail, but if they fail, what happens to their blockchain? The answer is it will probably not be good. I don't know if BSC would fail or whatever, Binance Chain altogether would just cease to exist, but there is a chance that it could. The reality is that there's a lot of liquidity bootstrapped by Binance in projects on that chain. There is a lot of things that get built there are incubated through channels that Binance is either involved in or partially controls. You have a lot of reliance on, to be honest, the reality is Binance Chain is really useful because it has lower fees and because it has that ecosystem tie to Binance, and there's a lot of interesting projects that have been built there. So if Binance collapses, liquidity just completely dries up, I find that developers will just abandon that platform. They will no longer use it. There's almost no point for them. And beyond that, there are, if the crypto market really even survives Binance's collapse, which small sections of it would, but most of it would get completely nuked, what does survive would not be things like Binance Chain. Because in reality, you don't have anything on Binance Chain short of the network effect of being around the Binance ecosystem and having things built on it, incubated there. You don't have any real big benefit that I can think of over something like a Polygon or something like even a layer 2 in the Ethereum space, where you can get an EVM compatible chain at scale and low fees for DEXs and things like that. So the truth is that we don't really know what's going to happen. We don't know, even hypothetically speaking, if Binance collapsed, how deep those tendrils go in other places. So it would be very, very unclear until it happens. But my thought is either Binance Chain would fail, or it would basically be starved for liquidity and it would fail very slowly. So it's either fail quickly or fail slowly. But again, we don't know if Binance is going to fail. So I don't want to sit here and say, yeah, Binance Chain's gone, because we don't know that. Okay, so this is all hypothetical, and I'm not ascribing a probability to whether or not Binance is in financial trouble or not, because to be honest with you, we don't have the data we need to actually make a determination, and that is the problem. There's not enough transparency, there's not enough oversight, whether it's by a regulator or by the people, over these centralized, opaque exchanges. It's an issue, it needs to be fixed. Because there's no trust, because there's no transparency. That goes for Tether, that goes for Binance, that goes for a lot of other places as well. There needs to be transparency. Boldface. So the next question is another one about, hypothetically speaking, what happens if this happens. This is from FinTwit Waterboy. That name is hilarious, by the way. What are your thoughts on what will happen to this industry post Ripple case if they lose and XRP is deemed a security? So as you well know, and I've made a couple videos on this in the past, Ripple, the place where XRP is built, as the XRP people know very well, is in a long-standing case with the SEC. They're battling it out in court. And the premise of this case is whether or not XRP is a security and they issued an unregistered security, and it's against, I think, the CEO of Ripple and a couple of other folks, at least one other person. The name escapes me now. But regardless of that, the biggest thing that comes to my mind, if the Ripple case results in Ripple's failure to prove that XRP is not a security, you would instantly see projects exiting, because founders would realize, now my token could be a security and I can't do that, right? So you might see people kind of going underground. The second thing you'll see is you will see mass panic amongst pretty much everything except for Bitcoin. You will likely see a big market reaction, not just in XRP, but in other tokens that, for all intents and purposes, people fear could be then called securities or deemed securities. And it would be a wide-ranging change, because a court precedent is rather difficult, because at that point you have to establish a new precedent through another case. And this is a high-profile case, to be honest with you. And so, ironically enough, this Ripple case is very important to the crypto space. And of course, we think about the ripple effect, pun intended, not intentional, by the way. I just realized that that's a pun. The ripple effect of this whole thing would be that people would fear more enforcement action. All this would really do is this would give the regulator, pretty much in this case the SEC, the ability to, with impunity, to be honest with you, go after crypto projects for not registering and issuing unregistered securities. And I think that is a major thing that people need to be concerned about, whether they're in the crypto space casually or not, because it's a huge, huge risk just to the mere process of innovation in this space. That being said, there is one piece of this that I think people need to understand. There are a lot of scammers in this space who have been able to, with impunity, issue tokens or issue NFTs, promise they're going to build X, Y, Z ongoing, right? They're going to do this, this, and that. They take the money, which is effectively a raise to do a thing. I'm sorry, that's a security, right? They ascribe a reasonable expectation of profit as a result of their actions, and then they walk away. So people lose all their money. That is the reason why this is happening. And you can point to every downstream conspiracy theory, whatever it is. The reality is that the vacuum that's been created for scammers to scam is going to draw regulatory reaction every single time. And it's unfortunate, but that's just the truth. People are getting scammed, and there's going to be more and more and more and more reaction every time people lose more and more and more and more money. And things are getting louder now because of FTX and all the stuff that's happening. So this case is going to be a big one. This goes one way or the other. Could be really good, could be really bad. We'll survive it no matter what, because this space is resilient, but it would be a tough loss. So that's my thought. Totally off the top of my head, by the way. And kind of speaking on this same thread, actually, this next question is from Andrew Wild at Mobile Dance Team on Twitter. Will you commit to contacting your legislators directly to express opinions on where crypto oversight should or shouldn't go? We have a voice. If we are intentional enough to use it, it's time to get active. And this is in response to some of the regulatory stuff that's going on in the space. That Senator Warren bill that I think is a complete disaster. I posted a video about that, which I'll link in the description, or at least tag it on this video. People are trying to do what they can to be involved and let their representatives in Congress in the U.S. know what their feelings are. I have some experience through family connections and things like that, who have firsthand knowledge of working in congressional offices or, working adjacent to Congress. The reality is that you making phone calls or sending letters and things, it's you exercising your right and participating. It really doesn't do a whole lot to sway a congressperson on average, right? It might sometimes, but on average, that's going to land in the hands of someone who works in the office. They might write it down and kind of give a general report. Often that doesn't happen. So that type of thing probably doesn't work. Really getting meetings, lobbying, getting in there and actually sitting down or getting an opportunity to meet with a congressperson is really the way to express your opinions and share a piece of your mind in a respectful way with them. It's very difficult to do that as an individual person. So what I would say is that while, yes, everyone should be making their opinion heard in Congress, it is also very important for us to support those who are actually boots on the ground, able to lobby directly and speak directly to these people. There are quite a few of them out there, different, think tanks and, I guess you could say PACs and stuff like that. That would be a route. So if you want to support, help them create content, help them create documentation, help them coordinate, donate some of your time to some of these organizations who will need help to scale their efforts to communicate with these folks. That's a great way of contributing, even if you're not getting direct FaceTime with your representative, which is very tough to do. And I've done that, by the way. So I say that out of experience. I realize that calling is only going to do so much. So try to get involved in some of the stuff that's going on, indirectly as best I can. Okay, let's see what we got here. A question here is from Will P. Regulation equals control to me, and I can't see how governments don't end up issuing CBDCs. It feels important to me to focus on the projects racing to build truly decentralized and trustless systems. Do you have a different perspective? No, I don't have a different perspective. I think I've committed myself to building in this space for the last, building probably 9 years, and I've been in this space, basically since Bitcoin's been around. I read the paper very early on in Bitcoin's life, 2009, 2010, fell in love with the concept, fell in love with the multidisciplinary nature of it, stuck with it. So I'm very committed to the decentralized focus. There will be, no matter what we do, no matter what we say, there will be centralized aspects of this space. There will be centralized systems that get created still. And you know what? To be honest with you, and I think we all need to accept this fact, CBDCs will in fact become real. They will be a thing no matter what we do, no matter what we say. It is going to happen, and I don't like it, but I think we need to just accept the fact that that is very likely to occur. So what do I think beyond this? Do I have a different perspective on what you're saying? No. We need decentralized trustless systems, because I think a check and balance to a CBDC, what ensures that these types of things that will get created pretty much no matter what we do, the way that you check and balance that as a people, as a community that's global, not even national, is you provide alternatives. You say, as you overstep, as you use that power in a way that should not be used, we have alternatives. So you cannot use that as a means of unilateral control. It's a check and balance. To me, that's probably how things are going to end up. And I don't really know. Maybe we somehow avoid a CBDC in the literal sense of what we think it might be. I don't know. Everyone has their own opinion about it, and I respect other people's opinions. Some people think it's a great idea, some people don't, and that's okay. But ultimately, what I think is we should focus on what we believe in, and I believe in decentralized solutions and trustless systems. So that's where I'm going to be focusing my time, and I'm going to just be kind of cutting out the noise outside of that. Thanks for your question. And I know people are really freaked out about this stuff, and I totally understand why. But I think it's better to not pretend it doesn't exist, but to accept the fact you can't control certain things, you can't control other people, and to focus on what you can control, which is where you allocate your time and your expertise. That's how I focus on things and compartmentalize things that bother me. Last question of the day is from Crypto Star Daily. Is Trump's NFT launch bullish for crypto? No. To be honest with you, Trump's NFT collection is a perfect sort of microcosm of everything that's wrong with NFTs, which is it's more of a way to extract dollars from a loyal audience and a loyal group of followers and do so in a way that really, like, the NFTs just don't really, there's no purpose. Why did you do NFTs? Just sell t-shirts, sell stickers. Just why NFTs? It makes no sense to me. There is nothing about that NFT launch that says, okay, yeah, NFTs were a great choice here. You needed to do an NFT. Really what it means is Trump gets $4.5 million, whatever the number was, People get a digital collectible that might be interesting and cool, and that's their right. Capitalism, spend your money on whatever you want. But there's nothing about that NFT that really screams that an NFT was necessary. So listen, is it bullish for crypto? No. Is Trump allowed to do whatever he wants with regard to issuing an NFT collection? Yeah, sure. I think it was just, the whole thing was rather silly. And no matter what you feel politically about Trump, and I have no interest in having a political conversation about this, the video associated with that NFT collection, whew, man, even if you like him, I don't know how anyone could say that was not cringeworthy. That was pretty rough. That was like an infomercial for, I don't even know what, for like a pair of fuzzy socks. It was really bad. So the reality is, it's good comedic relief at a time where we really need it. That's my perspective on it. And, you know, bully for him, $4.5 million for an NFT collection. That's great. I mean, good for you. Congratulations. That's free market capitalism at its greatest. But the reality is, no, it's not bullish for crypto. It's not bullish for NFTs. To be honest with you, it's kind of an indicator of some of the stuff that's wrong with this space. You can basically go and sell what is effectively worthless digital garbage for millions of dollars, and I'm not certain, maybe I'll be proven wrong, but I'm not certain that I'm going to see any real utility, quote unquote, out of those or anything built around those NFTs in the future. Who knows? We'll see. Maybe I'll be putting my foot in my mouth and there's a huge ecosystem of utility and application for those particular NFTs, but my money's around the fact that it won't be. So listen, that's going to do it for the Q&A today. If you have your question that you want answered, leave it in the comments on YouTube. Tweet me at Hashoshi4. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend. Just a quick housekeeping item. Because of the holiday that's coming up, and for those of you who are celebrating, I am going to probably post Crypto Over Coffee a day early or a day late, working around Christmas Day. And so if you have a preference, leave it on Twitter. If not, I'll just post a video. It's going to get posted either way, but I'm working around the holiday. So wishing you and your family a wonderful and happy holidays. Want to thank you for watching this video. If you have some time to stick around, I'll link another video here, one that we talked about earlier in the show. And until next time, cheers.